Is there anybody there?
What you said is absolutely true, but also so people don't have to rely on me for a handmade baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather there be people all over the country that, hey Bob over there in Ohio, would you make me a couple? Or Tim over here in Kansas, would you make me
Mm-hmm.
and more people are doing it.
What's up, Deadhead crew, and welcome to part 2 of my conversation with Corky Gaskel. I would say, hey, we are in the final episode of all these rules and all this fun stuff that we've been discussing, but you know what? Baseball got too many rules, and we just can't go and cover it in just 2 episodes. It's going to be like, I don't know, a whole series. And then even then, at that point, we're not going to have enough time. But I digress. Anyways, we're going to part 2 with Corky Gaskel. We go into some of the nuances of when baseball was just really starting up, some of the rules and stuff like that. And obviously, we go into my famous, not so famous questions. Had a lot of fun with Corky. We also talked about his YouTube videos that he made on how to make the lemon peel baseball. That's right. He has a whole series. It's pretty cool. But I'll let him talk about it. And I did purchase 2 of the baseballs, so you guys got to see them. And then, without further ado, guys, I'll give you the episode. All right. Any other rules or anything as far as like that would be a little bit different, or is that pretty much the standard? I mean, obviously hitting, running to first, second, and third. The distancings are still the same as far as bases are concerned, correct?
Yeah, the bases are 90 feet. The pitcher is only 45 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And in up until 1864, he has just one line that he has to stay behind. He could pitch it from second base if he wants. He's behind the line. He can go back as far as he wants.
Gotcha.
In 1864, they added a second line that was only 3 feet behind the first one. So now you have this very limited space to work with. And you can't start outside of it. You can't finish outside of it. And the reason they did that was the pitchers got pretty good at throwing it fast. Mm-hmm. And they had to figure out a way to kind of slow that down a little bit. That was one of the reasons. And so, that's kind of a change in the game. The pitcher is quite a bit closer. But yeah, otherwise it's nine fielders, same spots: pitcher, catcher, first, second, third, short, left, center, right. 3 outs per side per half inning. Now the 9-inning thing is slightly different in that there's no home team. So let me just start with that. There's no home team.
Okay.
It was a coin toss.
Okay.
If we're playing at my field and the other team wins the toss, they want to bat last. They're going to bat last, right?
They're going to say we're the home team. We're considered home.
Yeah, and let's just say I'm the home team, and we get into the 9th inning. We're ahead 15-2.
Yeah.
And the other team goes 1, 2, 3. It's now bottom of the 9th. We're ahead 15-2. We still bat. So they played the full 9 innings. So both teams had equal chances at bats.
Huh.
And it wasn't a in your face kind of thing. The other team understood it. Everyone gets the chance to play. And that team with 15 runs might score 5 runs.
Yeah.
And they didn't care. It's like, okay, fine. We played more baseball.
Yeah. At that point, it was like, hey, give me as much baseball as possible. It keeps me away from my errands and all my real life. So let's go ahead and keep playing some more.
Yeah. And so that's one of the rules that tend to get bent a lot in our vintage game. Now keep in mind, in the 1860s and even 1870, they played one game. Right?
Okay.
And they were done. Where in the vintage community, we usually have 2 or 3 teams show up. And even if it's 2, we play a doubleheader. If it's 3, you got a game, you got a game kind of thing. And so it's 100 degrees and everyone's like, hell no, you're not going to bat in the bottom of the 9th. No. We're tired. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
And as next game. And you try and explain it to the spectators. Hey, this is what they would have done. This is why this is happening. Would have been, if it had just been one game, we'd have probably played it out.
But if it's multiple games,
I
can see that.
over.
Yeah.
So that one gets bent a lot, and plus the modern era human
Yeah.
can get offended when the other team's ahead by 20 runs and still wants to bat.
Right.
You gotta say, oh, okay, fine. We don't want to piss you off.
Let's just
We're
keep it friendly. Let's keep it formal.
yeah, but
We'll forfeit the last 3 outs.
yeah, and so it's just one of those things where I wish we could just always do it, but I get it. I get it.
Well, yeah, because you want to keep it to the letter of the law when it comes to the history and the rules of the game at that during that time period. If you're going to keep it to that,
Yeah, so my goal is that when people come and watch, they leave understanding all of the rules historically, right?
Mhm.
So when we do something, and we do this where we will bend a rule or break a rule for some reason, I make sure it's clear that these guys know this is why we're doing it, and this is what they would have done, just so they don't leave thinking, oh, they didn't play the bottom of the ninth, just like
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
That's not true. I want them to know what
this is
would have
why.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess there's that why not? I mean, listen, it's you like you said, you're off 10-15 runs. Does it make sense to play those extra 3 outs for historical point? Yes, but for embarrassment of the other team, no. You want to keep it game. You want to be good sports about it at the same time.
Yeah. So I tell my guys when we're on the 2 end of the 15-2,
Yeah.
let's get our butts out there because we just gave up 15 runs. We need some practice.
Yeah.
Let's go get an inning where we do something right. Let's get some momentum to the next game. Let's see what happens.
Let's
That's
learn some different things at that point.
Yeah.
Like we know we lost. We got it. We're good. we're going to practice.
Yeah, we need to get better. And here's another inning to do it. So
Nice. I like it, my friend. I like it. Okay, so let's say that someone like myself, a spectator of the game with the sport, decides that obviously there's a lot of people that are very much collectors of vintage baseball things and everything, and they want to get a hold of you, and they says like, hey, do you sell one of those baseballs as to a spectator? Is that something that you do?
yeah, we at our home games, I always have some for sale for anyone at the games.
Okay.
But I also have people who reach out through Facebook, or if they know my email, they send me a note, say, hey, I'd like 3
Yeah.
baseballs, I like 6 baseball, whatever. I encourage people, and I do this quite a bit. Like if I'm going to go see in Minnesota a couple of years ago, Justin Morneau was in town.
Yeah.
He played for the Twins.
Yeah.
I take one of these baseballs to have him sign it instead of a modern baseball. And then he's
Nice.
looking at it and he goes, what's this? And he just opened the door for me.
Boom.
I'm going to explain a little bit about 1860 baseball. And so I encourage people that want to talk about the game to have a ball like that to take for an autograph session. Some
Mhm.
people just put it on the mantle in their house and say, hey, this is a replica from the 1860s.
Oh, we're going to talk offline because I want to get one for my display here that I have, because that's definitely a cool piece to talk about as far as a baseball. Like, I mean, I got regular baseballs all over this room, right? But not a vintage baseball. So, and that's a cool piece. That's a good talking point.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the answer is yes. If anybody that reaches out to me, whether they want to buy 1 or 6 or 12.
Yep.
And the only thing I ask is that if you're using them for gameplay, I need to know what year you're playing because the ball is different for each of those years. If it's just going to go on your mantle, then I'll ask you, do you want a white one? Do you want a brown one? Do you want a tan one? I've got different colors that I can make. The darker colored ones are more historically accurate for the early years.
Yep.
They just suck when you're playing. Especially if you got like a grove of trees behind you.
All of a sudden you can't find a baseball.
Like, I heard the crack and you're looking around, where's the ball? And so I actually took it to an event in Michigan and had a couple teams who were willing. It was just kind of a practice game to try it out. And after the 3rd inning, they said, it's a great ball. give us a white one.
So let's play with the white one because I don't want to get a concussion out of this thing.
Yeah, and so the white is not historically accurate for the early years, but if you're playing late 60s into the 70s, I can kind of make a case for it. And so the backstory there is the leather was still dark, but they had discovered that if you use alum on the leather, it would strengthen the leather, but it would also lighten it in color.
Uh-huh.
So that's what they were doing back in the day before they had ways to color the leather, was they use alum and then just rub it on the leather to lighten it up.
Nice.
And so I just tell people, tell them you rubbed alum on it and then made it a lighter color.
Boom, done.
We're done.
That we don't have to talk about it anymore. Where it's all over. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, my friend, Corey, is there anything else that I have not asked you or anything else that you want to share? Because obviously this, I'm all for this. But is there anything, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So for people that are watching that are curious about the rules, what the rules looked like, how they were written, I'm gonna verbally give you a website.
Yeah.
It's VBBA, Vintage Baseball Association. So it's VBBA.org, O-R-G.
Yep.
And then /rules, RULES and customs.
Yep.
And on that page, you can look at all the different years that we have and our group's interpretation of what those rules meant. So the language of the 1860s is not the same as the language of today. And so when there's instances where if you just read the rule and you go, I'm not quite sure what they meant, then we go to the documentation of the write-ups of the newspapers where they talked about these things and find instances where, aha, this is what they meant because here's what they're doing in that situation.
Gotcha.
So we provide the interpretation based on that with under each of the rules of the day from that, so you can understand what it is that means if it doesn't make sense. Some are very clear,
right?
Hard to misinterpret, but others you kind of need game accounts to kind of make heads or tails of what they were trying to do there. So that's a good site to use to find those rules. But I'll also and I can share with you offline my email if you want to share it with people that want to just reach out. Hey, I got a question.
Sure, absolutely.
I saw that. What does that mean? And I'm happy to help.
And I'm gonna put the website on the show notes so that way people are able to follow it, because you guys have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and then also a YouTube channel as well. So I'll make sure that this website, we'll set it up for everybody to go and take a look at it. So that was pretty cool to see, because I think there's even a game on the YouTube channel that they can go ahead and watch. Yeah,
there's a number of them. Not everybody does it. There are some that do, and yeah, you can kind of see how it goes down. Now it's not always obvious.
Yeah.
For example, the Elizabeth Resolutes out of New Jersey do a really good job of putting their games online.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that they specify the year. So they play 1870. Okay. Now the rule set's closer to the modern game, because every year we progress, we get closer to the modern game. And so you may say, hey, that ball was caught on a bounce. What happened? Why wasn't he out? Well, it's 1870. That didn't apply. And so sometimes if they don't tell you the year, you're not sure what you're looking at in that sense. But again, you can always pop a question on the page, say, hey, what year is this? What's going on? And most of those guys will respond to you accordingly. But I also have my how to make a baseball out on YouTube as well. So people that want to sit through painfully long 12 sessions of how to make a vintage baseball, because it's very detailed. It almost has to be in order to pull it off. You can look how to make a star pattern baseball or how to make a baseball, and you'll see I think there's 12 videos out there. And it starts from making the pattern all the way through to stitching it up. It's A to Z.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to look for this right now. So it says how to make a baseball star pattern.
How to make a star pattern baseball. And I think I put lemon peel in it too, so you could use either one.
All right. Okay. I'm looking for it. Right. I'm going to look for it. So that way, I will put all this information on the show notes. So that way, people can look at it. Cause I think, like I said, I think this is something that a lot of people should take a look at. And there you are.
Yeah, and it'll tell you exactly what materials you would need or use, but remind people that if you don't have leather,
Yeah.
or you don't have there's substitutions you can do just to try to make one and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to go buy a whole hide of leather,
No.
kind of thing. So use something, if you have an old couch, cut a piece out of the old couch that's you're going to throw away, right? And just use it.
There you go. Don't waste anything else. But yeah, look at you. You're right there. And there's different patterns that I see when you're making it. Look at that. There's even the brown one like you were talking about. And then the lighter one and the white one. All right, man. Look at that. There you go. You just got a subscriber, so I'm gonna learn how to make one.
Yeah. I get a few people asking questions. Actually, the first person to use those videos to make a baseball wasn't a vintage baseball player. It was a guy from Germany.
No way.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of the ball he made and told me he's from Germany. It was one of the most beautiful baseballs I've ever seen. And I was like, you made that thing just watching my videos? I said, that's how I make it. And I've been doing this for years. So yeah, it was black leather and red lacing, and it was really pretty. It was smooth. It was round.
Oh, that's
amazing.
Like,
yeah, it's like, wow, I made it to Germany.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's amazing. Good. That's awesome. Good for you, man.
And I've had a guy sent me him and his two little boys. They're probably 10 and 12. Each one of them made a baseball, and they're all three in the picture holding up their baseballs. And they were so happy. So it's really fun for me to see that kind of stuff. Even when I know this isn't going to be part of a vintage baseball game, they're just having fun making a baseball.
But that's the thing, though. Like, that's how you start the love of the game for someone, even at that young age, right?
Yeah.
You're teaching them like some of the cool things that they used to play back in the day. So no, I think that's amazing, my friend.
Got one more story. I don't want to
go for it. No, keep going. I'm good. There's no limit to this.
One of the most surprising and impressive things that I saw happen is 2 years ago, I met a guy. He's legally blind. I met him at a baseball game.
Yeah.
He goes and he listens. He listens to the crowd and he listens to the crack of the bat. And he just loves baseball. And I started telling him about what I do with the 1860 stuff, and he got really interested. I took him out to one of our events, and he could enjoy from that. Told him about making baseballs, and he said, "Will you teach me?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? What do you mean, will I teach you? Aren't you blind?" He goes, "Well, I can do it through feel. I think I can do it tactily. I can do it by feel." I said, "There's no way." I said, "I'll bring you to the house. We'll sit down and try it. Surprise me." He made a baseball, and he made a baseball that looked like a baseball. I had to help him with two things. First thing is, when he was winding the yarn, he dropped the ball and it rolled across the floor. And I was like, "Well, Chris, you can stand up and I can direct you to the ball, or I'll go get it for you." So I went and got the ball for him and kind of helped him wind it back up. And then when he was stitching it up, he was with needles, using his fingers, feeling the holes, stitching it up. He went one hole too far on one of his stitches. I said, "Chris, you got to back up. You got to go one hole closer to you." He felt it and found it, and then he stitched the ball up, and he made a baseball as a blind man. And it was I almost cried. I was like, "How,
dude, you're almost making me cry right now.
How did you do that?" And so, but what was fun about it was, as I watched him do things tactily, through feel, I'm like, I need to do that. And so now I'm to the point where I can make a baseball watching the TV show because of what he taught me, by me watching him do things and how I can feel for things and just kind of go and do it. And I can now watch a show and just like, I'm making a baseball.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now I don't always do that because especially when someone's going to use them in a game, I really focus, try to
Yeah,
focus.
obviously, yeah.
I'm making practice balls or even just for our own club. I'll sit and watch a show and put together a baseball, and it's really weird. I just because of what I saw him do with just feeling things out.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's baseball, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the beauty of it. I was like, because you can still listen to the game. There's the radio announcer, like, there's nothing like it, right? Because they describe the feeling of it. Like, I mean, there's nothing like it. But football, announcers are trying to make the same thing. To me, someone who calls a game of baseball on the radio they're an artist, you
Yeah.
know. And for someone like your friend Chris to actually being legally blind and to actually create a baseball just by feel, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's nobody in my mind that would be happier about having something like that in their hand than a guy like that who loves baseball and now he can tell his friends, I made one. I
That's
actually
awesome.
made one
Yeah.
by hand.
I
Yeah.
like,
So
yeah. What have you done? Right?
yeah. Yeah, because
I'm
I
blind.
have people who can see just fine that can't make a baseball. They
I
struggle
don't,
with it.
I'm gonna watch these videos and I'm gonna try to recreate one, but I probably will not be doing so good. But I'll let you know
Well,
how it goes.
and what I'll tell you is, and I've done this for a good number of people. Is let's say you really want to make a baseball.
Yeah.
Instead of going out and buying leather and all the wax sinew and all this, go buy some rubber bands, go buy some yarn, and then I will cut out and punch a cover and send you the sinew that you use to stitch it up so that you don't have to go buy leather.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a pattern if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And usually what I do, because when you buy a skein of yarn and you buy a bag of rubber bands, you got enough for 4 baseballs. And so I'll send you 4 covers, 4 pieces of the string to stitch it all up with.
Yeah.
And you end up with 4 baseballs. Now, if you have some yarn laying around and some rubber bands laying around enough for one, that's fine. I'll just send you 1 cover.
Oh no, I
There's
will be
no,
buying the whole thing because I don't have anything laying around like that.
yeah.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and that kid will steal everything from me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that everything.
Yeah. And I offer that to anybody, any of your listeners that are saying, hey,
Absolutely.
I'd be curious about making one, but I don't want to go buy a bunch of leather. I don't know how to make the pattern. I'm going to punch the holes wrong, because if you punch a hole wrong, the leather gets thrown out. And
Yeah.
that's the most expensive part of the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Those covers are all $4 to $5 each.
Yeah.
And so that's half the cost of the baseball just in that piece of leather.
Yeah.
So you don't want to screw it up. And people have that fear, and then they say, well, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, well, I should be able to offer you guys one that's ready to go. Right?
Sure.
You don't get to cut it, you don't get to punch it, but you still get to make it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty. It was very well received, and quite a few people went that route. And
there's
then,
a sense of fulfillment to it.
Yeah,
right?
it is. I mean, if you're a baseball junkie, you got to try and make one. I mean, it's just
Challenge accepted.
You're always going to have that one thing on one of your friends to go, look what I did that you didn't do.
You called yourself a baseball fan. Have you done this?
And so this one here, this figure 8 one, is one I started making those now.
Did you now?
Yeah. So this is late 1860s when they started using this.
Uh-huh.
And there are some teams that play in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And so I thought, I'm going to try to figure out how to do that. And 3 years ago, I swore I would never do it again. It's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna extend this. I'm gonna keep going.
Keep going.
1858, roughly, the figure 8 pattern was invented.
Yeah.
But you never saw that baseball until late 1860s. And I was like, I wonder why that is. And then I tried to make one. And I said, now I know why that is.
Yeah, no one wants to make it.
So with this style ball, this lemon peel ball, it's one piece of leather. And if you don't cut it exactly on the lines just right, it'll still fold up, it'll still stitch together. You can make a baseball. Yeah. No issues. With 2 pieces of leather that got to come together, they got to be cut exactly the same. They got to be punched exactly the same or it won't come together.
Interesting.
So my theory that I presented in my presentation at Cooperstown was the reason that didn't get done is no one had the ability or the wherewithal or the thought of making some type of a punch where they could punch the leather and cut the holes at the same time, and so everything was exactly the same.
Yeah, everything was uniform.
Yeah, because when I'm cutting these things with scissors by hand, 99.9% of the time, those two things are not going to match up exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really hard. Now I tried so hard. The one I just showed you is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not what I would try to sell. It's not to that point yet. But it looked pretty good. It feels good. But I got to figure out a way to make those cuts so exactly the same in order to pull it off. And so those I'm not going to like sell by the dozens.
Yeah.
It'll take me a month to make a dozen. But I do have some clubs that play overhand baseball. The overhand pitching started in 1884, something we didn't talk about.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So overhand, that you went from underhand to overhand in 1884.
Well, yeah, I went from underhand to pitchers started cheating a little submarine-ish, a little sidearm. And then finally in 84, they said, look, you guys are not going to stop trying to cheat. You throw it however you want. Right. So they didn't just go overhand. They just said, we don't care.
Yeah.
Underhand, overhand, whatever you want to do in 84. And so we have teams that play in those eras.
Mm-hmm.
So once I get one where I'm really, really comfortable, I want to send it to them and just say, use it in a game. I want to know what happens.
Yeah.
I'm curious. But don't ask me to just make a dozen of them. I just in my mind, did I do it? Did I make a ball that'll play in that era with a figure eight pattern? So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're teaching other people how to do it, so that way the tradition continues, with baseball making, which is
yes,
that's the best
and also
part.
If I keep making 200 baseballs a year, I'm going to have arthritis set in pretty quick too. I'm not a young man, and so it's what you said is absolutely true, but also so people don't have to rely on me for a handmade baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather there be people all over the country that, hey Bob over there in Ohio, would you make me a couple? Or Tim over here in Kansas, would you make me
Mm-hmm.
And more people are doing it. Or my team now in Michigan, I got a guy. My team here in Pennsylvania, I got a guy. So they make them for their own teams, and then other teams see that and go, "Ooh, can I get a couple?"
Yeah,
and it continues to expand.
That's awesome. I love it, and it's just spreading the game. That's one fan at a time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I will definitely make sure that I'll put your YouTube link so that way everybody knows how to learn how to make a baseball by hand. Your information so that way everybody knows how to get a hold of you in case they want to get some of those baseballs, so that way they can start doing it themselves. And then the website as well, so that way they can learn the rules of old time baseball. Because that's amazing. That's amazing. Vintage baseball. So that's awesome. I love that. All right, my friend. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. This is the hardest part of the whole interview. I'm going to give you a soft toss here. When you go to a baseball game, right? What's your favorite team? Your favorite baseball team?
Major League Boston Red Sox.
Boston Red Sox. I did not hear that as a Cleveland Guardians fan. So you go to a Red Sox game. What is your food and drink of choice, my friend?
Yeah, well, I am more of a traditionalist when it comes to baseball, so I'm getting a hot dog and a beer.
Good man. That is the right answer. Hot dog and a beer. That's right. Okay. Are you one that believes in ketchup on the hot dog or just mustard?
I do ketchup and mustard. I do both.
Good man. And again, you're batting 1,000 in my book right now. All right. What is the most interesting place you've ever been to?
I would say I'm gonna focus on my baseball travels, and I'm gonna say Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. They host a vintage baseball festival out there that's played actually on the grounds where there was a battle during the Civil War, which is the era that we're playing. And so it wasn't that it was the most beautiful sight, but it was so historic. Just you're standing there like, I'm playing where these guys were shooting at each other, right? And when you watch, if you've ever seen the movie Gettysburg, in that
Great
scene,
movie.
There's a red barn out in this field. That's there still. When you're playing baseball, that barn is still there. So that from the baseball standpoint, vintage baseball standpoint, that was a very unique and humbling experience. From regular travels, I'm going to say Glacier National Park. As a kid, when I got to go on, they have these rides where you're in. It's like a army tank kind of thing, and they take you out and hang you over the edge of the glacier and then spin that thing around. And it's, you wet your pants and then you get turned around and like, holy, what the? So as a kid, it's like, you're scared to death and then you're done. Can we do it again?
Go again.
It's just the idea that those trips, our family trips when I was young, those were always really fun. And I just always remember that event at Glacier National Park.
Does the event at the Gettysburg still go on, that vintage baseball?
Yeah, it's an annual thing. It's the third weekend in July.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and if you're interested in ever going up, just reach out and I'll get you the exact dates and times and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. If let's stick with the theme of baseball here, right? Let's say that you have the ability to bring one dead player back for one night to have dinner, hang out, to talk, have a conversation with. Who would be your choice as a player to bring back for that one night?
That's an easy one. That would be Daniel Lucius Doc Adams. Doc Adams, what I consider the father of baseball.
Okay.
Now, we didn't talk about this. If I were to say to you, who invented baseball, would you provide me with an answer or a guess?
Everybody wants to say, Abner Doubleday, that who created the game of baseball.
Right.
I'm pretty assured that was not the case.
Right. That's a myth.
Exactly.
So it's a huge. You could do a 2-hour podcast on just
on that alone.
topic,
Yeah.
Right? But the game was not invented. It developed over time, and one of the key people, not the key. No one is the father of baseball, but
right.
One
There's
of the
many
key people,
iterations of it. Yeah.
That got me started because he made baseballs. He was the captain of his club. He was part of the rules committee. All these things that I'm trying to do, I'm doing because of Doc Adams.
Mm-hmm.
What Doc Adams did back in that era. So that's very easy because there's a lot of things we can clear up with the rules committee if I could just sit down and talk to him. What did you mean by this?
Can we talk about this? Because there's a lot of confusion around here, man.
Yeah. So that's Doc Adams is the guy.
He was an old man when he died. He died in 1899.
Yeah.
So 84 years old.
He had a good life. He contributed so much to the game, but he loved his family so much, and that's why he got out. His wife was sick, and he decided he needed to spend more time with her, and went on to be part of a bank, and it's just a great man with a great life. So,
well, I mean, he is credited as the creator of the shortstop position. I mean, that's pretty neat.
1849. Yeah,
look at that. Yeah, we're gonna have like 3 or more episodes of you and me talking on the history of baseball, because there's so much to cover that is just you cannot just cover in just one episode.
Right, and if we can talk offline a little bit, I have friends that know way more than me that would absolutely love to get into more details of stuff that maybe I'm not going to have the right answer for.
And that is going to be hell yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely on that. Okay. So if you were to, let's say that, you were to have a superpower, what will be your superpower, my friend?
My superpower would be to find a way for everybody to get along.
That is a great superpower.
I'm just tired of the bickering. I'm tired of this back and forth. Can we just love each other? or I'm wrong. I don't care. But let's just get along.
Let's just hang out and watch a baseball game. How's that?
Yeah.
I'm with you. That is a great superpower, my friend, and I love it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, what does your perfect day look like?
Perfect day or date?
Day, D-A-Y.
Oh,
I mean, because date, that's a different that's a different
I,
podcast, man.
yeah, I was gonna say if it's a date, I was it's my wife, obviously.
Exactly.
But the perfect day would be June 27th because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. No, okay, that was an old joke from the Miss American. No, it would be I'm an early riser, so I'd probably get up early. I'd probably have a nice breakfast, make a few baseballs, um, maybe sit down and watch a movie, have a nice lunch with the wife, get some yard work done, and then at the evening I'd want to go to a baseball game, come home and relax and hit the hay.
That is a perfect day, my friend. That is a really good day. Anywhere, anytime that there's baseball involved, it's a perfect day already.
Yep.
I like it. Okay. Do you believe that pineapple belongs on a pizza?
Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but it's not my choice what other people choose to do. If they
Good.
like pineapple, eat it. You just think. And the thing is, I love pineapple. I'll sit and eat a whole pineapple.
So
I
do
just don't want it on my pizza.
You're right. You're absolutely right. What do you think smells better, fresh cut grass or bread baking in the oven?
Boy, those are two good ones. I'm gonna take the bread though because, um, yeah, the bread. That's just
That's some good stuff.
yeah.
All right, a couple more here, and then I promise I will leave you alone. All right, the most useless invention of all time. What do you think is the most useless invention?
The most useless invention. Boy, what is something that I never use? How about manual hedge clippers?
Oh, forget it. There's no way. Man, those things suck. God.
They stick too much, and this.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
just
just
no,
yeah.
no, get him out. That's why they made, yeah, I'm with you there. That's a good one. All right, here we go. Uh what is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal. I'm based on what I've had people think of me. I'm going to probably say the jackass.
That is a great answer, man. Good for you. I love it. I think that's amazing. That is amazing. All right, last one here. If you could be in any movie, right? Any movie, which movie would it be?
You mean to watch or to be a part of?
No, to be part of it, not watch it, right? Because we can watch anytime now, and at this point. But like, if you could be in any movie, be in it.
Yeah,
Which movie would it be?
the Field of Dreams.
Oh, such a good movie, isn't it?
I mean, it's not that it's great acting or great. I love the story,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I love the idea that bringing back the old baseball players. There's history there. It's not the same era I play, but it's the whole idea that
Mm-hmm.
they're bringing back history, and I would like to be a part of that.
Me too. I absolutely would agree with you. I think that would be amazing. Uh, Corky, thank you so much for doing this. We're gonna have you back on because obviously I want to cover a lot more of the history of the game, and then we'll talk offline of other people. But I will also put all of this information so that way people can follow not just you, but they can follow the Vintage Baseball Association, their website, and all of that. So, and also your YouTube channel, so that way they can learn how to make a baseball. My friend, thank
Perfect.
you so much for this.
You're welcome. I enjoy this. I'll do this every night.
Yeah, let's do it
No,
again. Absolutely.
I host what I call a baseball Zoom on Tuesday nights where I get vintage ball players, from all over the country.
Yeah.
We just do this. We just sit around and BS. One of the guys has a subscription to the MLB network, and he'll pop one of his screens on a game, and we'll have a game on one screen, and we'll be talking on amongst it, a good play will happen. We'll all stop and go, "Holy cow! Did you see that?" And we'll watch it, and so I'm always up for doing something related to baseball.
That is it's a great answer, my friend. Great answer, and thank you so much again. And then everybody, if you want to make it baseball, this is the man to get a hold of for that. So we'll make sure to put all the information in. We'll see you around, my friend.
Thank you very much, Ed.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Corky. The rules were pretty cool, right? There's a lot of things that about the game of baseball that we didn't know, or we did know, we just forgot about it, or you were like, man, this is some crazy rules. The one catch, you let it drop on the ground and you catch it. Crazy, right? Anyways, make sure you guys are following him. He has a YouTube channel. I will put the link on it so that way you guys can learn how to make a baseball yourself, right? All by hand. He teaches you step by step on how to do it. If you get a hold of him, he will let you know what you need and he will send it to you. It is the Lemon Peel Baseball, so it's pretty cool stuff. Okay. Also, make sure you guys are following me. I am on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, and even the new Threads. Yeah, I started an account there as well. Make sure you guys are following the podcast. Give it 5 stars, thumbs up, subscribe, rate it, all that stuff. Okay. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. I love doing this, so thank you for everything that you guys have done to support the podcast. Now, finally, let's get you to the dad joke of the episode, and here it is. Why don't matches play baseball? 1 strike and you're out. All right. I'll see myself out, guys. And until then, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.